Alright, what's up everybody? Dad here with Bodies and Wicks. I'm not gonna try to make this too long. I don't want to wait for 20,000 people to try to enter the room because I know it's not gonna happen. So I'm just gonna talk about something. How about that? First, what I want to do is go over a trade I made today. Again, if you don't follow me on TradingView, I suggest that you do. Or if you don't follow me on Twitter, I suggest that you do. Because my Twitter is linked to my my TradingView. It's probably gonna be the quickest way for you to get signals. And I'm not exactly for sure how to do the whole thing. Maybe we can get something going over here and try to show you how. First, this is my mines, in case you are not aware of what mines is. Mines is a great tool. Great tool. Like here, there we go. Keep moving around on me. Mines is like Facebook for nerds is basically what it's like. More content you put up, more yeah, I think they're actually ERC20 tokens that they put up. I'm not 100% sure what kind of tokens they put up, but they'll actually reward you in tokens depending on how much content you create. There's a lot of weirdos out there that just like want to put out like, hey, I'm this person and this is what I do, and you know, I like to make memes and follow me and that, and those people I kind of try to ignore. But there's also some other for Twitter. Let me see if this is actually, it is not working right now for some reason. There we go. And that is not the way I want it to be either. But hold on one sec. You know what? Let me transition back to myself. And let's go back over here to what is going on. Go back over to mines and let's wait, why is only mine showing and not? I am not understanding this. This is not great. All right, if I do the Twitter thing though, and I go to new screen 3 and unlock this, and let's make this a little bit. Why is mine showing up now? I am so confused. Okay, hold on. I think I've got to figure it out. I think I've got to figure it out, folks. I may just have figured it out. It did. I did. I figured it out. I did it all by myself. So thank you very much. Thank you everybody. Thank you everybody. Thank you everybody. Again, Mines is really cool. Follow me on Mines. Sign up for Mines. Really cool thing. I started a little group in Mines. It's called Technical Analysts for CryptoTraders. And there's some cool people, you know, pretty much just me, you know, but there are some other people that do like to do some analysis for the trade. So I want to try to get a you know, little group in here going. But if you're not following me on Twitter, I suggest you do so. And one of the main reasons why I follow me on Twitter is because let's go to my profile, and if you go to my profile, we'll see that right here. This was my idea. So my idea from TradingView came through today, straight to my Twitter. How you, I'm not even exactly for sure how you, oh, I wouldn't say, you know, let's just go with this guy, right? I'm just gonna go with this guy. Going to see if I can get him. I'm gonna follow him. I'm just gonna follow him, just follow him, right? And here we go, notification. So notify, so you can follow and then notify. So when you hit notify, I post something by you, so that way you try to get the what's going on right at that moment. That's probably the best way right now as far as getting the ideas that I have out there for you guys to jump in on, I guess you could say, or at least understand where my mindset is coming from. And I try to post them at least. What I've been doing lately is I love to do forex stuff and things like that, but it's hard. You know, forex is like one of those things where you have to be up at like 2 in the morning and then really kind of follow it and go along with it and see what's going to happen. You can probably catch some good trades in between like 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. But a little bit more difficult. So I have been more focused on the indices rather than anything, right? So I don't know who this Spencer. Get him off. In fact, listen, I even had Spencer Shift on my screen. Who is Spencer Shift? I don't really know. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna first. I guess I should tell you a little bit about myself, right? I'm Ted. What I do is I do this thing called I am a smart money analyst, a smart money strategist. What I do is I do not I'm not the type of person who goes by retail trading. And what I mean by retail trading is I mean that I'm not the type of person that follows the same kind of rhetoric that most retail traders have, which is well, here's two lows, so evidently there's a support here, so next time it hits this low, go ahead and buy, because there's going to be a support there too, you know, or you know, there's 2 highs here, next time it gets to this high, go ahead and sell, probably because there's going to be a resistance there too. That's not how the market operates. That's how the big banks want you to think they are, and that's how you probably think they operate, but it's not really how they operate, if you haven't noticed. I know how many of you guys have noticed, especially when it comes to like trend lines. If you've ever, you know, followed a trend line, right? Here, let's see if we can find a good example of a good trend line trade that would have just screwed somebody over really bad, right? So what I want to do is take you over to but anyways, if you do like this type of stuff, if you do like you know, smart money trading, if you not knowing how the banks or if you like knowing how the banks you know, trade, if you like knowing how to try to get around them and try to make money in your own way, rather than versus you know, trying to go from some random guy off the internet, which of course I'm just some random guy off the internet trying to tell you, oh, this is gonna happen here and this is gonna happen here, because you know, this book told me so. Yeah. Like to think I would like people to think a little bit more critical than that. So what I would like you to do, a huge big surprise thing for me, and go ahead and smash that like button and smash that subscribe button, because you will be getting a lot more content from me regarding these kind of things, and trying to help you guys out and trying to help you understand what it is like and how it changes and varies, and what you can do to not lose so much money. And if you do lose a little bit of money, how to mitigate those losses. And not only how to mitigate those losses, you know, like yesterday I had a down day. And everybody knows I had a down day, especially if you noticed my video. I had a down day. It was bad. You know, what we can do is that, you know, there's plenty of things we can do to come back and mitigate from. So what I want to do is go to first I want to show you the you know, maybe a failed trendline trade. Just a failed trendline trade, right? Everybody loves the trend lines, right? Everybody loves the trend lines, right? So if I can find a failed trend line trade, I can kind of spot one right now, but you know, let's just all right, let's say you're going to be, you know, here we go, here's the bottom of the trend line, right? You got this guy here, or let me put this really here. All right, you got this guy here, right? Then coming up, and then, oh well, here's kind of a trend line, but it's cutting a little bit into it. Maybe you need to move the trend line over a little bit. Okay, there we go. So now you may have actually got a good trend line trade off the second one, right? All right, so let's say you did, right? Oops, didn't mean to do that. Go back to this. Here, and all right, so you say, well, you got a decent second trend line trade off that one, right? Here we go. Oh, maybe you got a third one, right? Maybe you got a third one, and this trend line is now just absolutely killing it, right? And now you're looking for the next good trend line trade. What happened? It fell a little bit. You know, you buy here, right? Buy here. That's to where this trend line was. It fell. Right, it didn't look like it didn't fall too far, so that's the good thing. You know, good foot fell, good 8 pips, but still it fell, and it's still gonna take you a little bit of time to get above that, right? But now the question is, well, what do you do, right? So now you keep following the same trend line that you were going, and now you don't really know what to do, because now it went back above the trend line. And now it's back below the trend line, and maybe you try to trade off of that, and now it stays down here, and then, you know, these trend line trades don't work. They don't work, and they'll never work. So if you want to, you know, try to do 2 points, you know, here we go. Here, let's just say here's another trend line thing. So now what you're gonna wait to do is, this is what a lot of people do. They find 2 good points, right? Then they'll wait until the next good trend line, right? So they'll wait and they'll wait and they'll wait until it comes back to the trend line. They'll try to trade off that trend line. And then here's usually what happens. Actually, let me see if I can find a different. You know, a different model here. And we can do a trend line sell, I guess you could say. What I mean by trend line sell is that, you know, you could do using the top of the trend line and then using and shorting it. So let's just say we have this, let's just say let's just start it here, right? Start it here. We have, oh come on, then start it here. And what do you do? Okay, so now we've got we may have, okay, boom. All right, so now we have two kind of trend line points. All right, you make a sell, right? So now that you made that sell, come back up into it. Yeah, it kind of does. Come back into after that, a little bit deeper. To come back into it after that, a little bit deeper, and next thing you know, it's not a trend line anymore. So now that you had a sell here, right? Maybe you made a little bit off of it, pulled back, you made a sell here, and you made a little bit off of it, pulled back, made a sell here, maybe made a little bit off of it, and then now it's at the trend line. So what do? Don't do it. You can't really do anything because there's no trend line sell. So instead, what do? You try to make or you try to find some kind of channel or something like that, right? Right. So I know I'm on the 5-minute right now, and you guys are going, "Oh, you can't do that on a 5-minute." Trend lines, channels exist, whatever, all that kind of stuff exists. They all happen, all kinds. Not trying to give me that crap. You know, so okay, so you're trying to find the channel here. Oh, it went through here. Okay, so this is my favorite. Okay, so the trend line was going down here, right? And then it busted through the trend line. Now guess what? Now we gotta wait for it to come back and hit the trend line again. And this one, okay, this one might actually work. This is one of the rare times where it actually works. Where if it actually busts through the trend line and it comes back down to the trend line and you buy it, it'll work. But it only works up until a certain point, right? And then after that, it doesn't work anymore. So you keep going the trend line down. Now guess what? There's really no more trend line. I mean, really isn't. Now we're just super far away, and now you gotta look for some kind of different kind of, you know, opportunity. Or what you could do, you know, here, let's just do this. Right, you got a channel, right? Everybody loves their channels. And actually, I'm not even gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna copy and paste it. Right, so now that we've copied and pasted it, like kind of a channel. So, you know, go down, it, you know, it moves in here, then it goes in here, then it, oh, here it hits the bottom of the channel. Now it's moving sideways along, and then it does this, and then it comes up. Oh, now here's the top of the channel. Now it's riding the top of the channel, and then it hits top, and it goes to the bottom of the channel. What does all this do to help you predict price? What does any of this do to help you to try to make a trade? The only thing that's try, I mean, again, this might be decent guidance, but this is going to do absolutely nothing as far as you making a good trade. Absolutely nothing. You are not going to make a good trade by following anything like this. So, let me bring you to my golden egg today. Right? Fortunately, I'm a smoker, and I'm going to smoke on my channel, and I don't care. So, one second. here. Again, I like working with indices. I like working with indices. But I love working with forex. With it again, I'd have to wake up overnight. But once I get to that point to where I become a professional, I will be able to be able to do that. Right now, indices make you way more money for sure, especially if you're working with CFDs. I like working with indices. I like working with Bitcoin. I like working with Ethereum. They're all kind of the same realm as far as price wise goes. The crypto has a little bit more of a spread depending on what kind of broker that you choose. You know, depends on the broker. But the broker that I have is, you know, the spreads are pretty decent when it comes to things like, you know, SPX and NASDAQ. When it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're a little high, but as long as you know the right amount, you're gonna be okay. Or as long as you know the how to read the chart, you're gonna be okay. So here's what my idea was, right? So I'm saying SPX dilemma depends on where the price reaches first, because I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, there's two things that can happen, right? And a lot of people don't realize it, but you see this huge, you know, big drop, right? Big drop just before bell start, right around 7 o'clock. Right around 7 o'clock, boom, the price just bottoms out. And this is anticipating the GDP announcement. So this is anticipating the GDP announcement. And I knew the GDP was going to be good. So, which I knew probably the drop was going to be bad, just because that's the way smart money works. You know, if there's going to be some kind of good announcement, usually everything goes the opposite way, because they want people to bet on the fact that it is going to be, and then it turns around and rips them the other way, because the banks have enough money to be able to screw you over like that. So I did not try to trade the whole you know, the GDP announcement or anything like that. So in case you're wondering about the GDP announcement, here we can go to forexfactory.com. Oh yeah, and there's a an EU economic summit going on, so this is what's been kind of interesting. Not really too much has been happening, other than the EU has just been absolute kind of bombing. BP has kind of been not really in the same realm, but it's not really doing so great. I haven't really been paying attention too much to CAD. I really probably should paying a little bit more attention to CAD, but I'm more or less I like to look at the euro and the GBP, just because they're probably the biggest competitors as far as the economic stage is concerned. So as you can see, at 8:30 this morning, or you know, 7:30 my time, USD released its final GDP numbers. It expected it at 4.1, and we released it at 4.3. Not too bad, right? Okay, so final GDP price index quarter over quarter. It was 2.1, and it was released at 2.0. It's just a little less than expected, but still, the final GDP quarter to quarter. But the main thing is what we were mainly looking at, and at a 0.2% above what we were thinking that we were going to get, would have brought a lot of good news, right? And this has happened at 7 o'clock. Well, what happened at 7 o'clock? One. Oops, wrong one. Actually, let me bring up a completely different one. Let me go to the Euro USD and let's go to S. So this is kind of show you what happened here. And I'll probably just redraw these. Probably actually these are not like so get rid of this too, not that. All right, so just before big realization drop, or the big, you know, huge drop that happened, right? So you see it kind of, or at least, no, here it is. I'm sorry, it's way up here. So this is up here, it's kind of moving along, you know. The thing is that you're having all of these, right? You look at this, all of these kind of almost equal highs, you know. It just can't get above these equal highs, right? Actually, it comes off above this little 5-minute chart high right here. I go horizontal line all the way across from this high all the way over here. Like it almost, I mean, this guy hits it, but then again, almost all these guys are pretty much right there with it. So there's all these equal highs, you know, right there with it. So this tells me right now that I am going to see eventually the price is going to come up above, right? This is engineering liquidity. This is engineering the fact that it's coming up here. Oh, it's gonna sell. Coming up here. Oh, it's gonna sell. It comes up here. Oh, it's gonna sell. And then right around the whole news of the whole GDP thing, boom, bottom drops out. Right? Boom, bottom drops out. All right. What happens when the bottom drops out? Now that's when I start looking. I start looking to see what's going on. All right. And of course, we're still early in the morning, right? Here, this is the thing about with indices. The thing with indices is that things really don't start developing until a little bit later. I generally, sometimes they will. Sometimes they will right out of the gate. They will just all of a sudden blast off. You know, make a sharp move and then a sharp move down. But generally, you got to kind of have to look at it and go, okay, what is going on here? I need to know what's going on. So, what happened to me was that now that we have all this going on, I don't even know what this line is, to be 100% honest. I think this may have been buy side liquidity. Yep, that's what this was. This was buy side liquidity. All right, already coming in again. So we have two buy side liquidities. Right. So now, as I'm looking at this, I have a low. Right. This red candle's the low. Usually you see this more of like this. You know, you have, you know, high, you know, a low, and then a higher low. So then the bottom of this candle is going to be your I think this would be your mitigation. So this would be your mitigation block, is what this would be. Now, that being said, it kind of does turn into a mitigation block. I'm not going to get too much into this because this really almost doesn't matter. I'm just going to throw this out there just because, right? So, that technically would be a mitigation block because it's a high, it's a low, and actually it would be the lowest of the low candles, so it would be that guy right there, lowest of the low, right? And that would be your basically your mitigation. Now, so what I'm looking for in here is kind of the same thing, but instead of looking for the curvatures, I just look at the candles. All right, so what I have here is I have, right, so at one point it started up as a high and it went low, right, and then it went high and then it drops to a lower low, right? So you have a low to a high to a lower low. So this right here, what is this? It's a breaker. Spell it right. And spell it right. If I can spell it right. If I can spell it right. If I can spell it right. All right. So that is your breaker. So now what and I haven't put this ahead of time, right? Oh, I'm gonna go back to here. I say here's the dilemma. I'm going into this and I'm thinking if it's gonna go up to this point here, right? So there's two different. I would show the other one, not showing it. Was just a second ago. Where'd it go? Anyways, I was showing that if it gets up into this part first, I wanted to short it. As you can see, there's a red line here. Here, maybe I can zoom in on it a little bit. If it gets up into this, area first, you see this big red candle here. These two big red candles. I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think it was gonna get high enough to get to this red candle. I just really didn't. I thought there was a couple of other spaces in between here that if it got it broke, right? If anything, if it's gonna break the buy side liquidity, which is what this was. If it's gonna break the buy side liquidity, it's not gonna break it for long, and then it's gonna turn around and go back, right? It's gonna turn around and go back. And what I wanted it to do was to see if it got down into this area right here. Well, what was this area right here that I'm talking about? Okay, so here, let me explain. If it moves it up into I put FAP. Hello, not the right word. Hold on. FAP is actually did not know this. Stock. The stock, is it really a stock? An Aberdeen Asian Pacific Income Investment Ltd. So if you want to invest in FAP, you are more than welcome to invest in FAP. But I am not going to be investing in FAP. It moves, I put, if it moves up into the gap around 38.86, I'm likely to be tempted to go short, as this has been the bias of the SPX within the last 24 hours. And I would short it to the mitigation breakers that formed around March 9th, March 10th. And that's what I put right here, right? These are the mitigation breakers around March 9th, March 10th. Right, you can see that. Maybe a little bit behind my head. Move around this way. These guys over here, right? I don't know if you can see me circle them or not. Here we go. Okay. These guys over here. Wherever the orange and the gold boxes start on the very, I think it's far left of your screen. That is where I want to see price dive down to, right? I want to see price dive down to that area. Right, and the reason I want to see price dive down to that area is because that's just part of smart money. It's part of smart money because this is where the bankers push down, right? This is where the bankers sell off, their investments, right? And also they go with their 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 trades. Trying to think of the words for it. Their leverage trades. So they'll sell off a bunch of this, right? And they'll leverage trade it at the same time to make it drop off a bunch, just so they can buy it at another price, right? Just so they can buy it at another price. So boom, so they save a good 6% just by selling off, leverage trading down, and then boom, buying right back here, right? So I want to see price, if it's going to come back up into this area, to this little gap. I want to see it drop back down into this area, right, to where they originally got, you know, bought, you know, at a discounted price, and then see it go up, right? So that was my idea. So I say I don't see it changing bullish, although basically saying I don't see if it continues going up being bullish, right? And if it's going to go up, I don't think it's going to go bullish, even though there's highs right here. And I think that's what a lot of people were maybe expecting, especially people in kind of the smart money of the world. I think they were expecting it to kind of go up here and probably try to attack these highs. But I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to cross this, pull back down, and then go up. So I say I don't see it changing bullish, although there are soft highs around 39.08. Remember these numbers, guys. Remember these numbers. 39.08. However, I see Friday to be the possible turnaround and attach to attack those highs. I put attach. So reach up into the 38.86. Remember that number, 38.86, which is this number right here, right? Which is where this red line right here is, 38.86. And then push down to 38.64. And then turning bullish. That's the point where I think it's probably going to start turning bullish. But if it reaches 38.64 first, this is what I'm saying. This is where my dilemma is. I'm saying if it gets down to this point first, then I'm gonna assume it's gonna go bullish, right? So if it gets down to 38.64 first, that I want to see it to get to the bottom of those breakers, right? Either way, I want to see it to get to the bottom of those breakers around 38.54. And if I feel that I start seeing the momentum changing, that I will go long and aim for the highs around 39.08. So let's see what happens. All right, boom, trade active. So I went for the short for the fair value gap opening. So it went up into that area that I was talking about. So it was going sideways for the longest time, right? And this was just before 10 o'clock, I want to say. 10 in the morning my time. In the morning my time would have been, I think, 11 o'clock New York time, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go back and actually find out exactly what time frame I'm on. No, I'm on New York time. So right around the time it jumps into the area that I want it to is 10 o'clock. So it's 10 o'clock in the morning, New York time. So 30 minutes right after the bell opens is when it jumps up into this area. So boom, I go short as soon as it hits this area. And I even say, hey, it got into this area, it went short. And I haven't had 3 more layers marked out. I'm gonna push it up here. 3 more layers marked out that I thought I could possibly get to, you know. If anything, if I was smart, I probably would have put 10% here, maybe 20% here, and then like 40% here, right? Just so I can get the most out of my profit. But I didn't. I put all 100% at the very beginning of that. So, what did it do? It went to all 3 of those levels. All 3 of those levels that I thought it was going to go to. And then it drops. Drops like a bad habit. So it's doing exactly as I thought it was going to, and the reason why is it came into these gaps. It dropped really fast from that news from the GDP, right? So it's got to back up into that area. It doesn't have to cover the whole area, right? It doesn't have to come all the way up here and cover the whole area. It just has to come up into the gap, that basically it caused, or that at least partially of the gap that it caused, and above the green candle for sure. That above the green candle for sure, and that's why I have the green candle marked out, and that's why I have this one as the entry. So above the green candle, here at this wick, here at this wick, these are the areas I'm looking at, because these are all the fair value gaps, right? All right, so, and basically what I'm saying is that right here, even though it wasn't that much into it, I took 50% of the profit. And the reason I took 50% of the profit here is because if I took 50% of the profit, right, the other 50%, if I was to go the other way, I would still be in, and I would get knocked out. I would still be in profit. I wouldn't be in huge profit, but I would still be in profit. Right? So as I'm letting it go, right? It gets back down to the same area. It comes back up, and it does. I'm glad I didn't, put my stop loss at exactly, where I entered, because it did come back up and enter that area. But it does come back down to that same take profit level. I'm saying, hey, if you take another 10% and you leave it exactly where it is, you're going to be way more. You're actually be in some pretty good profit if it does decide to turn around and go back on you. Now, but I also, at the same time, I lay out another area of take profit, right? And this is about halfway through. From here to here and here to here is about halfway through the entire area. Here, what does it do? Boom, it gets to the next take profit area. What I tell people to do, or what I say to do, what I actually do, I take another 30% profit. So I take 50% profit here, right? And I take another 30% profit here. Now at this point, I say, okay, now move your stop loss to break even. Because if it goes back against you, no matter what, you have made enough that you're not going to have to worry about anything, right? Move these over here so that way we can see a little bit more. And so now I took 10% at this point, right? At this very low level, because it got below, right? So I had these 2 areas that were mitigation block and or not mitigation block, may have been mitigation block or breaker block, can't remember, but it just got below that, right? And as soon as it got below that, I just went ahead and took 10 more percent commission, or did 10% more of what my profit was. I had 10% left, and I was going to leave that as a trailer and let it go, right? But then I remembered my original idea. What was my original idea? Let me go back up to the top here. My original idea was that if it got all the way down to here, was to buy, because this was going to be the area that it was going to turn around and go back the other way. So, I take, take the last 10%. I'm going to leave the rest as a trailer. And so I start adding up everything, and I'm like, okay, at $5 per pip, how much did I make? All right, so I take 50% here at, not pips, but handles. At $8 a handle, $5 a handle, and I think I forgot exactly how many handles I started off with. I think it was like 100 handles. So 50 times 50 times 8 equals somewhere around there. And then the other 30% remaining handles that I took times 17 equaled 2,670. And then the last 10% that I took of the handles equaled $1,460. So a total of $6,305, and I still have 10% left that I haven't even touched. Right, so I'm letting you know, hey, this is a good day. This is a great trade. Got all the way up to where I wanted it to. It got all the way down to where I wanted it, right? Because I read this like a book. I knew exactly where I was going. Now, for those of you who are wondering where these lines are coming across, I should probably get to those, right? These lines coming across. We'll get to those. You know what? Let me actually go to the 1 hour. So in the 1 hour, you have a high, a low, a higher high, right? So that low, that one low candle is your breaker. Boom, extend that out. Same thing here. You have a high, a low, a higher high, right? Your last down close candle. Boom, there's your breaker. Extend that out. So, and these two kind of overlap, right? So since these two kind of overlap, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for price to get down into that area before it turns around, right? Because those breakers are going to act as support, right? What I was thinking is that it was probably going to get below this area right here, right? Because this area is going to act as well, not really act as anything, but this is going to be your sell side liquidity. So it's going to break that. People are going to think that this is I think this is going to be your support level. So people are going to start buying around this level thinking it's support level, when actuality it's going to go through that level first before it starts buying. So I knew it was going to get through that level first, which is why I said I wanted to see it get to 58, 54 before it started going back up again. Those are the words that I used in my calculations, or in my idea, right? So, and then I realized, holy crap, I completely forgot about the original idea in the first place. And I say, drop everything. And I say, buy the turn. I said, this is the original plan anyway. I should have bought sooner, close out the remaining 10% and buy. So, bought here. Boom, what does it do? This is what I did. I wasn't for sure if these over here on the left, right, these highs, right, and then come down to a low, and and then go back to another high, if these were going to act as breakers going across, and then these were going to act as support or resistance anyway, and then push it back down. I didn't know if that was going to happen. I didn't know if I really didn't know what was going to happen with this whole area right here and all these that were happening right here. It could have happened, it could have not, but with the momentum that was swinging up, more than likely these breakers probably wouldn't have done much. So, but what I did is I took the buying power that I had, took the buying power, and I think it was 11 handles. and then I exited out of the trade and walked away from there, and I said, you know what, I had a good day, that was good enough for me. So, but if we go back to the original plan from what I talk about, I said let's recap this in my own words. I said first, it moves up to the gap around 3886. Like I said, remember these numbers. Here it is. 3886, right? Remember that? 3886. Right there was the entry. Oops. Do that. 3886 was the entry. Right? And I say I wanted to see it 3864. 3864 was right when it gets to the brown part. I want to see if it gets to the brown part to see if it starts turning bullish. If not, then I want to see it get down to the lower part near the 3854, near the bottom of the breakers. 3854 was right around here. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't actually get down to 3854. What it does is it gets down to about 3856. So I'm just about 2 handles shy of the 3854. But still, 2 handles shy of the 3854 is not bad at all. Not bad at all. So if I would have bought at 3854 instead of 3856 or 3854, I would have been okay shape. And then what did I say after that? I'm gonna keep. I say what I want to do is I want to wait and see. I say if we reach 34, okay, so get to the bottom of those breakers around 3854. I start seeing the momentum change. I will go long and aim for the soft highs around 3908. 3908 are the soft highs. Here it is, 3908. What does it do? It goes right above 3908. Goes right above those soft highs I was talking about. I did all this by reading the algorithm. Nothing else. No magic 8 ball. No trend lines. No channels. No indicators. No nothing. Guys, this is all you have to do is understand smart money. Understand smart money. And you understand exactly how these things form. You understand exactly how price gets to be where it is. You understand why the banks take it to a certain spot and then move it to another spot and then move it to another spot. It's because the banks have the ability to reprice everything. The banks have the ability because they have the millions, the billions, the trillions, the quadrillions of dollars to take all of this and just say, we're going to move it this way for this long, and then we're going to take it and we're going to go this way, because they know there's people like me and you out here trying to make a living off of this, and they know that we're just going to try to chase anything and everything that we can, right? And that's exactly what they're designed to do. They think, okay, as soon as they move up toward the beginning of the bell, guess what we're going to do? We're going to buy. We're going to buy at the beginning bell. Why? Because that's what the beginning bell does. Buys at the beginning bell. It's moving up. It's moving up quick. And there was a huge down. You know, it went down really fast right before that. GDP was good, right? The GDP was good. So that means that positive numbers for the GDP means that the S&P and all that stuff is going to turn out great, right? It starts moving up, and then boom, as soon as it hits that gap, it's the gap, not anything else. It's the gap. As soon as it hits that gap, boom, it goes the opposite direction. As soon as it goes the opposite direction, where does it go to turn around? It goes to those areas I was talking about that had to do with, I forgot, March 9th and March 10th. That had to do with the breakers and I think it was just the breakers. And as soon as it hits the bottom of the breaker, what does it do? Boom, turn around after that, because the breaker acts as support. Boom, and then it just turns around after that. Where do I aim for? I aim for 39.08. Why do I aim for 39.08? Is because 39.08 is this right here. It is the equal highs. It's the equal highs. The highs that it hasn't been broken yet. Right? Of course, yeah, there's a big red candle over here. But of all this, it comes up to here, boom, doesn't get across it. Comes up to here, boom, doesn't get across it. Comes up to here, boom, doesn't get across it. Gets close, doesn't get across it. 39.08 was that number that it was trying. And actually, I probably could have went a lot higher. I probably could have dug a lot deeper into some of these candles and probably went a lot higher and continued on, and you know. But instead, this is exactly what I got. Let me get rid of this 11 bars thing. So as you can see, here, let me just go to 5 minute here instead. Yeah, I do have indicators down here, but I use them only in conjunction with other things. So I don't use them as anything that kind of tells me, you know, what to do or what not to do. So here we go. We go up 38.86, boom, it breaks that. Sell, boom, comes down. 38.54 is where I was saying to look. Doesn't get to 38.54, but it gets to 38.56. Boom, you can buy there. Where do I say to look after that? 39.08. Boom, 39.08, breaks 39.08. I mean, it can't get any more textbook than that. It cannot get any more textbook than that. I wouldn't say textbook because there's no textbooks on smart money, right? Smart money is, I wouldn't say street smarts, but street smarts on knowing how to take the bankers and make them pay. And then again, the algorithm is not going to change for the bankers, right? They're not going to change their ways. Their algorithm's going to stay the same no matter what. They're never going to change from this. You know, it's always going to be there. So no matter how many people get involved with this smart money, right? No matter how many people get involved with smart money, they're never, ever going to change their algorithm. So tell your friends, tell your wife, tell your mom, tell your children, tell everybody, this is the way it is, right? This is the way you have to think about it, the way you have to look at it, because if not, you're going to get left behind. Because what would retail have told you what to do here? What would retail have told you what to do here? The one thing I think retail would have told you what to do here was probably buy here. This is about the only thing I can think retail would have told you what to do. Right? There's equal lows right here. Right? Retail would have said bought there, which is not a bad idea. Okay? Not gonna lie. Not a bad idea. Right? Retail says, hey, equal lows here, buy here. Okay? Buy there. That's fine. And honestly, that would have been a great move. But I'm just saying, with my move that I made, knowing where to short first, right? Knowing that what was happening was faking people out and then shorting, right? Let me just see how much that was. and I forgot exactly where I got out at. I think it was somewhere here, this over here. Forget exactly where it was I got at, but oh, here it was. No, hold on. I can't see the number exact, but it was about 38. It was about 38.56. No, 38.57, somewhere around there. 38.56, 38.57. Right. Doing this around 38.56, 38.57. Right there. That's 10. I mean, 38.86, 38.76. 10 bars down. So I made an additional 10 handles going the opposite direction whenever retail would have just said buy here. And then who knows if you would have had the mental capacity to hold that entire way up, right? Because retail probably would have told you to sell right here or even below this, right? Because they're going to say probably sell right here because it's going to turn around and go the opposite. Whenever smart money says, you know what, there's actual highs above here, it's going to take it above these highs because so many people are thinking sell right here. And you can see it. It's obvious. It's so obvious. Right here. I'm going to get rid of this. Boom. It comes all the way up and then boom, it drops. You can see it drop right there. And then everybody you can probably see. So I probably don't have volume up. Let me see if I can add the volume or not compare. The volume. Look at that. See, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, hold on. Maybe not this one here. This one here. Look at the volume. Okay, the volume's still pretty heavy. And then it gets up here. And then boom. Volume drops immensely. Look at this. Two huge volume candles. Why? Why? Because it gets close. Because it gets close to here. It gets close to here. Everybody thinks that this is the high. So it gets close to this high. Everybody sells, thinking that this is going to be the end of the road. So boom, two huge. I wouldn't say two huge candles, but a lot of volume coming out of these two candles, thinking this is the end of the road. Now look at this. Pull this up a little bit more. The volume goes down. The price goes up. Got a little bit of volume here that drops. Just because it looks like, okay, it looks like it's at its peak, so people are like, all right, I think it's about the most I'm gonna make some sell here. Call it a day because it is 6 o'clock. Boom. I'll just, well, 6 o'clock actually would have been more like the break time, but still the volume there broke. Now you're still seeing small amounts of volume, and in the small amounts of volume, still seeing it kind of fluctuate. So that being said, now that we have got above this, which I actually thought was going to happen tomorrow, we're going to have to see what is going to have to happen, what's going to have to happen. tomorrow morning. I want to know. I really want to know. So before we get off of here, take a look at Bitcoin really quick. I don't have much time left. I'm actually at an hour and 7. I could get kicked off at any second. Bitcoin is playing a really funny game. Some people are wanting wait until it gets to about 48,000. Right now it's gotten to about 50. You guys think it's gonna get to about 48? I said 48 yesterday because my friends are saying it's gonna hit 48. It's gonna hit 48. It could. There's no doubt about it. It could. But I'm just wondering. I'm wondering if it will. If it hits 48, I'm buying a lot. I wouldn't say buying a lot, but if it hits 48, I'm definitely throwing in some kind of consolation prize. Not consolation prize, but at least, you know, averaging out, because I haven't thrown in money in Bitcoin since 33,000. Just because I haven't needed to. So, that being said, let's take a look at Bitcoin 4-hour. All right, well, let's take a look at these same kind of formation, right? See, so, and here's what I was talking about whenever I was talking about with SPX, right? You got this big drop, right? Get a big drop. What's going to happen? It's going to come back up into it. And what did it do? It dropped after that. Then it started coming back up. Now the problem is that this hasn't come back up far enough to pass the SPX. Reason why? We don't have equal highs. We do, but maybe. I don't see equal highs. I don't see anything that's going to attract liquidity. The only thing that's going to attract liquidity right now is going to be this guy right here. And I'm not even for sure if that's going to be to attract enough liquidity for price to get up that high. So in the 4-hour sense, we have a huge drop, goes sideways for a day, drops, comes back up, drops, starting to come back up, right? This is the, I called the 4-hour. Our discount, so that must have been a long time ago. Actually, that's 4-hour per. That probably belong side. Come on now. Oh, geez, come on now. I think with that gap that I was talking about there, it's already been filled. Now, things with that, when gaps get filled like that, so you can see this thing got huge. I mean, we're talking about Elon Musk days right here. This is Elon Musk day right here, right? And this is what I was afraid of. I was afraid of price coming but all the way back down to the bottom of Elon Musk. I was telling people that everybody's not believing me. I said it's gonna come back down, you know, just because one person said that they invested in it. Who knows how long they had been invested in it, you know, before that. They could have been investing in it way back here, right? They just said in January that they changed their terms and conditions. What, you know, cash reserves mean, or reserves mean, or what all this stuff is. There's no telling how long they have been. That was just pure news. So if anything, what's his name? Michael, I forgot the guy from I can't think of the company, but the company that has like 90% of their cash reserves in Bitcoin. He's been going around talking to people, telling people Bitcoin is a future. If anything, everybody is either selling off Bitcoin or making sure Bitcoin gets to a low price. That way, whenever all these huge companies get into it, 50,000 is, you know, this may be the deal, right? Maybe the deal. Whenever they could have get, or maybe they were in at 33,000 or whatever it is. Now they're realizing that, okay, maybe I can't get in at 33,000, or maybe they can. Who knows? Maybe the price is going to eventually keep and continually draw down till we get to about 33,000. And then after that, we're going to see another huge bump up, right? But there's no way we're in bear season right now or anything like that. Yeah, of course we're going to see bearish movement, you know, that just happens to everything. But there's no way we're in bear season. So what is going to happen to Bitcoin in the near future? I think I said yesterday we're still going to be okay. There it is. I said I think we're still going to be okay. Even if we drop slowly but surely, by the dips, Bitcoin is scarce. It is the one entity that is scarce. The only other things that could, and I mean rarely, but could outperform Bitcoin would be Ethereum, of course, and it's because of the smart contracts and all that stuff, and whatever it's called, I think it's a 159 or whatever it is, the Ethereum improvement project, since that's getting approved and whatnot. You'd probably see a lot higher prices coming out of Ethereum, which fortunately Ethereum's right around 16. Not doing so great, but still. Again, we're seeing lower lows right now. We are seeing a little bit of a higher high, right? So even though we did come up here, what we do see, what we do see up just a little bit, we do see a little bit of equal highs right here, right? You see a little bit equal highs right here. What I'm thinking is that if the price comes up, hits this yellow line, right? If it comes near this yellow line, we're probably going to see a little bit of a pullback, and then maybe a little push forward. If we can get it to come up that far, right? So have lows to get some highs, not higher than these highs, but at least these lows didn't drop below, right? So have high, low, lower, high. That would be your mitigation block right there. What I mean by mitigation block usually act as support. As you can see, after it came back out, touched it, boom. So we are getting support out of that mitigation block. This came, same thing, high, low, lower, high. What do we get out of this? Same thing. Boom, boom, mitigation block, right? So if we keep getting these, right? So I don't know if this is gonna work this way, since we've already made two of them. High, low, higher or low, it should just be barely above this. No, that wouldn't work, because then that means this red candle would have to be. Then again, I'm on the hour, guys. So if we get down to the 5 minute, things could change. Things could change drastically. Here we have high, low, higher, low. That's where this comes in right here, right? Where that comes in. Now we have two, high, low, so far, higher, low. Actually be lowest down candle. Boom, there we go. Now we got another mitigation. The only thing is that you can't do that forever. Can't do that forever, or else. Well, good thing is that if you have a high, a low ends up being right at the mitigation block, then you have a higher low. Then of course you have a mitigation block that sits on top of that. You could have mitigation blocks sitting on top of each other, on top of each other, until eventually you pretty much kind of get like a pyramid growing out of Bitcoin. And it seems like that's kind of what's happening. All these blocks that are just kind of building off each other, and hopefully that we can get big out of kind of slump that it's. But then again, right now, I know, especially if I know people that have buy limits, set at 48, waiting for it to hit 48 so they can put in a ton of money. I personally have a buy limit set at 44. Don't think it'll ever get that low. Just in case it does get that low, got a buy limit set at 44. Ethereum acting kind of the same way, right? kind of the same way. Had that big drop, right? And then had the high, low, we have the higher low. Get lowest low block right there. Right, that would be your mitigation candle. Right here, if we got another one, high, low, lower, high. Tiny one. Yes, mitigation candle. As you can see, actually, if anything, this is also a rejection block. I'm surprised I haven't got kicked off the internet yet. It's been an hour and a half and the internet has not kicked me off. I think it's because I erased all my my stuff. Still, whenever something comes down into, especially so something like this, you have a low, something comes down to the low, low again and gets rejected, then comes near the low again and gets rejected, you got a rejection. But also, in coming into these areas, mitigation blocks that are moving these out. Again, high, low, low or high. Get mitigation block. Not too much different from the last one. Anything here, we're not getting much different. We did break the high, right? Here we have some equal highs. Color. Like going silver when it comes to the, right. You have kind of some equal highs coming up to it, dropping, coming up to it, dropping, coming up to it, dropping. Of course, hitting right in these breaker areas, coming up to it. Now we've made higher highs, but these two have made equal highs. Well, again, same thing. Hopefully, right here, the next catalyst for price to above. Not like a huge drop right here. Okay. You can see price kind of rebalanced already. Right, yep, price is rebalancing throughout this. Kind of had some equal highs here. That's what it did. It's breaking the highs. Ethereum looks like it could be on its way up. Right. Unless Ethereum, the only thing that could be difference between Ethereum would be something like this guy right here. Move it all the way across. Guy right here. But kind of the same print. right? What could happen is that price could eventually come up into these areas and then drop back down. Hopefully it don't drop back down too much. It depends on the price act happen. It's gonna move up. If it's gonna move up slowly and kind of move back and forth like it did here, you know, it could be very, very bullish. You want things to move quietly. You don't want huge you like huge parabolic moves because yes, it makes you lots of money and it looks great, it looks wonderful. But as soon as a huge parabolic move is over, get ready for a flagship sink, because that's usually what happens, and it happens within weeks. That's why I like small moves up and down. I think just like this. Get this guy to come up into this area wherever this big gap is. You know, it may hit this gap, may move back down just a little bit, but then it may move right back up. Who knows? Who knows? SPX, I want to see what's going to happen with SPX in the morning. I know we talked a lot about SPX tonight. Now all my numbers were pretty much dead on. Hate to brag, but I dead on. Here's a thing right here that we have equal highs right through here, right? Equal highs right through here. This is what I'm going to be looking at. And that's at about 39.51. So I'm gonna have to wait and see what all of this does throughout the night. Right, it looks like it's already broken through some gaps here. You can see it right here. That. See it broken through gaps right there. Right there. Again, breaks above them, pulls back as a fake out. Breaks above them, pulls back as a fake out, and then eventually moves on. Right, and I think the same thing is going to happen again once we get above these guys, or at least this one right here. Same thing's going to happen. Break above, pull back, then we'll have to see what happens when it comes up above here. Nasdaq is usually my favorite scalper, just because I can hit a button and wait a couple seconds later and I make 20 bucks. You know, I don't know what. Just because I know the direction that it's heading. Again, we're here. Same thing kind of happened. 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, ahead of the GDP announcement. Boom, it dropped. And then it did the same exact thing as I just wasn't paying attention as much to it as I was SPX, but did the same thing. Unfortunately, I probably got knocked out really early in this because, well, no, I don't know if I would have, because I wouldn't have entered here. I would have entered right here, where I would have. The reason I would have entered right there was because of the green candle. Green candle would have been exactly where I would have entered, but green candle 12.828, the highest candle 12.87. Oh no, 12.55. 12.55. A little bit less than 30. Still not too bad. I just don't like taking a 30 handle risk. But what this did do, it did fill in this gap right here. I noticed. It did fill in this gap right here. Right now, we're hovering kind of near that area to where it did fill that gap. Again, I'm gonna have to wait until the morning to see what happened. I'm gonna try to wake up early. I always tell myself I'm gonna do that, but I never try to wake up early. See what I can find from Forex first. Then after that, I'll try to see what I can find from the and Bitcoin. Right now, 30 p.m. Generally, I am kicked off by now, at least an hour and a half ago. So thank you all for watching and paying attention. And again, if you do like my content, if you do think what I do is a good job, please subscribe, hit the like button, join my Patreon. It's only $3 a month, and that's just to help the channel. With the Patreon, I do give private lessons, not private lessons, but like I will go into more detail, especially if I have, even though I went today into the SPX and I went into a little bit more detail about why I did what I did. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll just say, hey, I nailed this trade. Be over at my Patreon and I'll tell you why if you remember my Patreon. I'll give you every single detail about how I came to that conclusion, right? No extra charge, just $3. That's it. But the reason I want people to join my Patreon is because I'm starting a signal channel. Probably sometime around July-ish. June, July-ish. I want to say July-ish. I think that's about the time I'll be ready. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off for a couple months free. But to anybody who has signed up for my Patreon, I'm going to give you guys a hefty discount, probably about 50% off. I'm going to offer it at about, I'm trying to figure out a good price. I need to do some market research on it. Anywhere between, I'm probably going to do anywhere between about 80 to 120 a month for regular subscribers. For people that have joined the Patreon early and have paid the $3 a month, I'm probably going to offer you to about 50% off, and that's going to be lifetime. Right, guys? So again, thanks a lot for joining me. It has been a lot of fun. Again, my name is Ted with Bodies and Wicks. If you don't know what a body and a wick is, it's a candlestick. Right? I just came up with such a clever word that I couldn't help it. A clever phrase I couldn't help think about. Like, you know what can I make my trading I can't think of anything about trading. You know, everybody's got like all these like, I'm trading guru, or like I'll go rhythmic, you know, I don't even know, or you know, the trading guys, or landslide trading, or something like that. And I was just like, how about a candle? How about a body and a wick? Right? It's simple enough, because that's what I read. I read bodies and wick. And so if you can't read a body and a wick, you don't know how to trade. Right? I'm not gonna name myself the, you know, the channel followers, the Trendline traders, or something like that. You know, that just, yeah, if anybody names their channel the Trendline traders and they think that they make all their money off trading Trendline, run very, very far away from them. I mean, just run so far away from them that you hope that they'd probably be eaten by a bear. I didn't just say that. Anyways, love you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Again, one more time, subscribe, like, share, do all the things that you can do, and I shall see you guys next time. And remember to do this one thing before you go to bed. Take off your pants.